What is going on, guys? Tempo Trades. If you're watching this video, that means you're probably an aspiring day trader, maybe profitable, unprofitable, but you're looking for some advice. And I just want to have a heart-to-heart with you guys. This is going to be unedited. We're just going to talk a little bit about a few different topics psychologically that could hopefully help your trading. So if you don't know who I am a profitable day trader, and I've made over 6 figures in prop firm profits this year. This is one of my investment accounts where everything is funded with my prop firm payouts. And it wasn't always this way. You know, it's not, don't listen to people on social media. It's not like I just spawned out of the womb profitable. I had to go through it just like everyone else. You know, I was unprofitable for 12 to 15 months, tried a bunch of different strategies, and finally got to the one that made me profitable and the trader that I am today. But I'm forever grateful for the trials and tribulations that I had to go through to even get to this point. So I wanna just share a story. So this is kind of how my week has went, and maybe you can learn something out of this, but this is really the difference between the unprofitable tempo trades and the profitable tempo trades, right? So I just want to show you. So basically on Monday, we had a great trading day. I was like 3 for 3 on stream. I trade with a community and everything was going great, right? Then you fast forward to Tuesday. I believe, let me see, the 19th. Yeah, so this was Tuesday. Again, everything going super great. You could see here 3 for 3 on call outs in the bottom. We haven't even missed yet. You know, starting the week off flawless. There was like 6 wins, no losses. Everything was amazing. You know, and that's really when trading can become dangerous, because with trading, you can't get too high, you can't get too low. I know sometimes even myself, I get a little bit excited on stream. It's really for the entertainment, but it's true. You just can't get too high or too low, because that's when your emotions are vulnerable and you're prone to make human error mistakes, right? You win 5 days in a row, 10 days in a row, and next thing you know, on that other day, you think you're hot shit and the market's going to humble you. And now it's a matter of how are you going to respond to that? Are you going to just take the loss and say, okay, all right, I'm taking it on the chin, it is what it is? Or there's some people who they can't accept the loss and they're like, how could this be? I just won 2 days in a row, didn't miss anything. What's going on? And they can't accept the loss. They don't know how to lose. And they go for another trade, right? They put on more leverage, chasing that loss. They put another trade, and before you know it, their account's blown, and the money they made on Monday and Tuesday is gone. So that was kind of something that happened to me, and I'll show you how we responded to it. So basically, if I just go to Wednesday, I had a really frustrating day as a trader, and you can see here in my Discord, I liked this long, didn't work. I tried one more long right here, didn't work. And then unfortunately, 10 minutes later, the long that I wanted the whole morning actually ended up working for like 200 points or something crazy. And that left me really frustrated, you know, and I ended up putting this message out there, and I like to offer some transparency, you know what I mean? And I like to tell people, like, look, no matter how much money you've made in these markets, the markets are always going to humble you. I've made 6 figures last year. I've made 6 figures this year. I post all my payouts on Twitter. I live trade every single day, and it just doesn't matter. You're human, and you are vulnerable to making the same mistakes I did back in my first couple months starting out. And the only difference between me then and me now is I'm better at seeing them in real time and stepping away and seeing my perspective and reacting better, right? So you could just see here, I wrote this message and I was like, look, man, I want to be honest with you guys. Definitely emotional after seeing those 2 losses, and then 10 minutes later, the move that we wanted happens. And I said, I said 1 year ago, I would have blown all my accounts. And now I see the bigger picture. It stings in the moment. That's okay. That's natural. We're going to move on to tomorrow. And then I go and finish with 1 day doesn't make or break our month, right? And It's tough. It's tough to have that loss. But I know that through back testing, through forward testing, whatever kind of data gathering you guys are into, I know that my model is very consistent, and I have so much back testing to prove that. And I always just think to myself, I made over $100,000 last year trading exactly how I'm trading now. Why would I change anything? I'm not doing anything differently. It's just sometimes you get hit with the shit luck in trading. So we fast forward to Thursday, the very next day, and what do you know? 4 for 4 on the stream. So this is just, it's, and you know, we go to the profits channel here inside the community. We have PB getting a payout, Wiz having a better week than me. He didn't even have a red day. Just a bunch of green all around. And this is what I'm trying to teach here, and this is what I'm trying to tell you. This is what clicked for me. When you're trading, you need to throw your ego out the door. You're not better than anyone. You're not lesser than anyone. You're you. You're fighting against yourself, okay? And you need to master your own abilities and your own psychology, and you can withdraw limitless amounts of money, right, in these markets. And this is just goes to show you, you know, I was perfect on Monday and Tuesday. I could have been on my high horse and had an ego and forced things Wednesday after those 2 losses and made the loss so much worse than it needed to be, but I took it on the chin. It hurt. It definitely hurt. And then fast forward to today, 4 for 4 on callouts on the stream. We made most of that back from Wednesday, and now we're sitting pretty with 1 day left in the week, and it's all about perspective. So hopefully that helps some of you guys. You know, I think that in my experience, now I've been working with trading students who are trying to learn all different types. I've worked with beginners, I've worked with intermediates, I've worked with people who make more money than me. So I've worked with all different types of traders in this past year. And again, I really just think it stems down to people are just not good at losing. People are just not good at losing. And, you know, we could win 20 days in a row, 15 days in a row, but there's some people in my community where we'll lose 1 or 2 trades in a day, and I look over to the chat and I'm seeing people blowing their accounts and completely gutted and sulking, and I don't know. It's that is why trading takes long. Okay, a super small percentage of people are profitable in their first year. I'm talking less than 1%, and that's just simply because you need to get beat up and get taught harsh lessons over and over and over and over again in your first year to mold your psychological brain on what's right and what's not right. You know what I mean? And that's why it took me 12 to 15 months to know that over trading's bad and FOMO's bad and over leveraging's bad, and I have to have rules or else I'm just a gambler. I needed, some people is different. Some people need 2 years, 3 years. Some people need 6 months. It's different, but for me, I needed 12 to 15 months to get punched in the face over and over to form to be the trader I am today. And I'm grateful that I went through all those trials and tribulations. All right, so going on to the next point that I really wanted to talk about here was I wanted to talk about greed and the kind of the balance between greed and complacency. Because again, this is probably relatable to most of you guys. Well, everyone's trading for a different reason. You know, some people may be trading for financial freedom to quit their job. Some people might be trading for some side income to maybe go on that vacation they've always wanted to go for. Some people might be trading, you know, to pay off their parents' mortgage or whatever have you. And that's the beauty about trading, is that, you know, it can unlock so many doors that a lot of jobs just can't. And it would take way longer, you know, if you go the traditional route. But at the same time, I just think that there's a balance of greed and complacency. You know, when I started trading, I was doing e-commerce. A lot of you guys, if you're familiar with my channel, know this. And I was making good money. I was making really good money. And I just made the jump to trading. And I go into that in other videos why, but I just made the jump to trading, and I basically sacrificed consistent income every month of something that I knew And I just jumped into trading because I needed to do something different, and I knew that potential with trading, and I just believed in myself, you know. And that's scary. That's scary for a lot of people, whether you have to turn down that job if you want to trade, or make some sacrifices. It's scary, man, because obviously you don't know if you're capable of doing it until you really do it. But you need to have some self-belief. You need to have confidence. You know, you don't want to have delusional confidence. I think you definitely want to have a healthy amount of confidence, but you have to believe. That's number one. You have to believe, or no one else is going to believe for you. You might have people, your peers, your family members, who thinks it's stupid and you're wasting time, but you have to believe, and that conviction can never waver, because that's going to show up in your trading. I've talked to people in one-on-one calls, private calls, where I'm helping them, and people have literally told me, I just took these bad setups and I just got it over with, or I made these mistakes because I'm expecting to lose. You know, I've lost the last 2 days. I'm just going to get it over with. And that's shocking to hear, man, because you're not even giving yourself a chance. You're not even giving yourself a chance if you don't believe that you can do it and, you know, be in that same position that you see on social media all these other guys are in. So going back to the greed and complacency thing, though, I think it's interesting because when I was starting to trade, it was steady. You know, first I wanted to just make a payout every month, or I guess first I just wanted to make a payout, you know, to prove that to myself. And first I just wanted to make a payout. Then it became I wanted to get a payout every month consistently. You know, then it got to I want to make 5K, 10K, et cetera, and it's kind of snowballed to where it is today. But honestly, my ambitions with trading have kind of plateaued in the last 6 to 8 months, and I don't think that's a bad thing. You know, when we talk about complacency and greed, I take a step back and I look at perspective. I'm making mid 5 figures every single month from trading, sometimes high 5 figures, and it's going great. I'm getting payouts consistently. I'm building a community that I love doing. I have other side incomes as well, and I just think I'm in a great spot, you know. And sure, there could be a part of me where, oh, if I'm trading 20 accounts, why am I not trying to go for 50 accounts, or why am I not trying to go for 100 accounts? But there becomes a point where it's like, when is it too much? You know what I mean? When is it really too much? I never, that just brings more problems, more stress. I don't think, whether you're making 50K a month or 150K, I don't think that is going to push the needle for my happiness and my overall well-being. I never was the type of person to be like, oh, I want to make $10 million and have a private jet. Like, no, I want to be well off. I want to be able to take the vacations I want to take, do the things I want to do, and live a happy lifestyle. And I've achieved that. So yeah, that's something that you guys should reflect on with yourselves, because, man, life's a consistent grind, man. And it just feels like you're just going and going and going and going. And if you don't really step back sometimes and reflect and really just say, like, where am I at? Am I where I want to be? What do I want to do? It's just, you're going to miss life. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how I feel about the greed and complacency thing. You should always be ambitious. Don't get me wrong. You should always be ambitious, want to improve yourself, but once you get to a certain point, don't sacrifice your health and well-being and your happiness for that, because at the end of the day, you're doing it for yourself. You're doing it for your family. You know what I mean? So that's all I really wanted to talk about today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this little discussion. I think we hit a lot of key points. You know, we talked about greed and complacency with trading, because again, no one's stopping you from going up to 100 funded accounts, or trading with 10 minis and going for 6-figure months. Like, no one's stopping you, but at the same time, is that gonna cause you so much stress that it's gonna deteriorate your health? And it's just something to think about, you know. It's just something to think about. So thank you so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed these little talks, these psychological discussions, please let me know. We'll do more. Have a good one. Take it easy. Peace.